Yeah. Damn, kid, always down. While my chin always pointed to the ground. Hang my head when I'm walking around. I wipe tears from my face on my bathroom towel. Until a typhoon came through when I met you. Cloudy days, let the sun through. Now I smile at the sunroof, yeah. Maybe I'm crazy, I'm out of my mind, but nobody makes me come to life like you. Said everything that I do, just know I do it for you. Maybe I'm stupid, ignoring the signs, but you're on my brain like all the time. It's true that even when I dream, just know I'm dreaming of you. Yeah. So I'm fighting for the honor, guts, glam, glory. Without you in my life, I'm feeling more less than Dory. You're everything I ever needed, way more than a shorty. When we're together, all the boring things aren't as boring. So you're the first thing on my mind when I wake up in the morning, and you're the only one I'm checking if you're seeing my stories. You're the reason why I work out. Gotta get what you deserve now. Best biceps and quads, the best sense in jobs, a new house, garage, a poolside massage, some new shoes, barrage, with anything that you wanted. You don't gotta work, just sip on a gin and tonic. And if you need a break, we'll take a trip to the tropics. God damn, you can't say I didn't try. Maybe I'm crazy, I'm out of my mind, but nobody makes me come to life like you. Said everything that I do, just know I do it for you. Maybe I'm stupid, ignoring the signs, but you're on my brain like all the time. It's true that even when I dream, just know I'm dreaming of you. Maybe I'm crazy, I'm out of my mind, but nobody makes me come to life like you. Said everything that I do, just know I do it for you. Yeah, just know I do it for you. Just know I do it for you. And I'm being serious. Snapchats, Instagram stories, even the freaking music, I really be doing this shit to impress you.
Well, howdy everyone. Oh, not going to my microphone. That should sound better. Hi everybody. How we doing out there? Alex Cuesta show. How are we tonight? I appreciate everyone wherever you're watching from, whether it's YouTube X, Facebook, Kick, Rumble, wherever you are watching from. Please make sure to do me the favor. Hit the subscribe button, the follow button, and also give us a thumbs up. Usually all these places have the ability to kind of give a like or something like that. So I'd appreciate that if you just gave a thumbs up. That would make me very happy. And if you want to go follow us everywhere at the Alex Cuesta show. So tonight we are going to continue watching that quartering video that I had on the other night. And we're going to see how the quartering continues to grift and if it's getting worse or better. Obviously, I think we all assume it's getting worse because what fun would the video be watching if it wasn't? But we shall see. Random Raccoon, what's going on? How are you? Thanks for joining me again. So before we get back into watching about the quartering, a few things that I want to take care of, because right now the NFL playoffs are going on in full swing currently. The Pats and the Chargers are playing. Pats up 6-3, start of the third. But I want to talk about so far this wild card weekend and just what a massive hit this wild card weekend has been for the NFL. If you are the NFL right now, you are beyond excited because every single game so far has been competitive. 4 out of your wild card games have been fantastic. We have 5 playing right now. And then we have 6 tomorrow night with the Steelers and Texans. You can't ask for a better weekend. So let's really quick go over the scores. Because yesterday, which, mind you, Saturday is traditionally a college day, right? But when it comes to playoffs and the end of the season, since college is wrapping up, which we'll do a quick talk about college after this. But since college is wrapping up, the NFL takes full advantage of those Saturdays. And yesterday, we had the Rams beating the Panthers, which I don't think many people thought that the Rams were going to struggle against the Panthers that the way that they did. But man, the Panthers came to play. And I give them all the credit in the world. The Rams ended up beating them 34-31. But Bryce Young looked like a gamer. Obviously, Stafford did what Stafford does. But that was opening up wildcard weekend. You get a 34-31 win by the Rams. Matty Stafford gets his win. That's awesome. Puka Nacua goes off. Fantastic. So then you have the nightcap, which we were talking about last night. Nate G was keeping us up to date on the score there. But another instant classic between the Bears and Packers. 2 division rivals. And it was a great game. 31-27. It was kind of a coming out party a little for Caleb Williams for what he did. And, Jordan Love balled out too. It wasn't like he didn't. But that was another instant classic. Random Raccoon. Yeah, sorry that you don't watch American football. Listen, the more you listen to this, you will get a little bit of insight about football because I'm a big football fan, but I also like many sports. You'll see me talking about some Man City stuff every once in a while because I like the EPL and things like that. You'll see me talking about basketball. You'll see me talking about baseball, a little bit of everything here. But right now, the current thing is the NFL. So Bears beat the Packers, a nice instant classic. So now we fast forward to today, Sunday, traditional day. Random Raccoon, because you don't understand what's good and what isn't. Well, it's never too late to learn, Random Raccoon. You just got to start watching, and you'll enjoy it. It's fun watching people hit each other. So fast forward to today. Earlier today, we had the Bills playing the Jags, and I was obviously rooting for the Jaguars. I dislike the Bills. I'm a Jets fan. And it was a fantastic game. They kept on going at each other. Trevor Lawrence played very well. I thought he played well. Travis Etienne came alive more towards the end, played well. But Josh Allen played awesome too. Shakur had a great game catching the ball. James Cook needs to give him a little bit more, but the Bills ended up winning 27-24. And again, another game that had a few lead changes too in the second half. So an exciting, good game to watch. Next game, we had the 49ers versus the Eagles. The whole country outside of South Jersey and Philadelphia were rooting for the Niners, and they came through. Even though they lost George Kittle in the process, he tore his Achilles, which sucks. But the Niners ended up beating the Eagles 23-19. And again, with lead changes in the second half. It's the defense played well for the Niners. They got enough stops. Purdy could play a little better. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks is not what you want to see. And they really need to get Christian McCaffrey going on the ground next game. The Niners got by the Eagles, but it's going to be tough sledding if they play that same game in the next matchup. So just looking at those 4 games, just those scores, 34-31, 31-27, 27-24, 23-19, and they were all that good. I mean, they weren't all instant classics, but they were all fun games. The Bears had a comeback win against the Packers. The Bills and Jags just traded blows. The Rams and Panthers were just going at it. And, the Niners and Eagles was a tight, fun game. So if you're the NFL right now, you are beyond happy with what you're seeing on the field. And then right now, the Pats and Chargers, it's 6-3 in the second half. And don't expect those offenses to stay asleep. So I'm thinking we'll see something in the 20s for the winner. But again, if this game, competitive. And then tomorrow night, we have the Steelers versus the Texans, which I'm not going to lie, I have no fucking clue what to expect from the Steelers versus the Texans, to be quite honest. It's going to be an interesting game. We're going to see what Aaron Rodgers has left in the tank, but he has a pretty good group around him that he's been helping elevate, and he's played pretty well this year. Rodgers has played just fine. And the Texans, I honestly have no clue how they got in. I have not paid attention to the Texans at all this year. I had no clue that they made it into the playoffs, uh, but they're there. So I'm going to definitely, gander at that game. I'll be doing talking in ovals at the time that game's going on, but I'll be monitoring it just like right now, like right here on my phone. The Pats and the Chargers game is going on, even though they're in commercial right now. But that game is going on right now. So I'll be monitoring that game as well while I'm doing my other show. Random Raccoon saying, honestly, if I want to watch people hit each other, I'd usually watch hockey or Australian rules. Aussie rules. Aussie rules is great. Something like that. Listen, those are both great sports. Hockey and Aussie rules are fantastic. But I mean, I played football growing up, and I've always enjoyed football. So for me, it's a sport that I invest in. I don't watch it as much as I used to, but I certainly do enjoy good football games. So real quick, let's look ahead at some of the divisional matchups that are locked in stone. So right now you have the 49ers versus the Seahawks, and that is a divisional matchup. So that one's going to be fun. The Seahawks, it's a good football team. Sam Darnold is playing well. He has Smith Njigba, who is, I think, the leading receiver, one of the top receivers in the NFL, if not the leading receiver in the NFL this year. He was fantastic for them. And, Sam Darnold is showing that last year and the year before that, neither of them were mistakes. That his good play is legit, and he's been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL over the last 3 years. So we'll see. We'll see if he can elevate the Seahawks. For my cousin Danny, I want the Niners to win, but at the same time, the Seahawks are a tall task. And then we go into the Rams are going to play the Bears. Once again, similar to Steelers and Texans, I have no idea how the Rams and Bears are going to go. Obviously, Stafford and Puka are going to do their thing. So that's the grouping that they have to stop, right? If you are the Bears. I mean, that Bears defense is really freaking good. That's a really, really, really good defense. So I feel like the Seahawks and Niners we could see in the 30s. I think though that's going to be a high scoring game. The Bears and the Rams, that one I could see that being a mucked up they lower scoring game, even though the Rams have a good offense. They just scored 34 on the Panthers, who also have a pretty good defense. I think that Bears defense is really freaking good. And I could see that game being like a 17-20 game or something like that, like a rather low scoring game. So we'll see what happens there. And then if you're looking forward for the AFC stuff, because that's the NFC that's locked in. With the AFC stuff, excuse me, the Bills are going to play the winners of the Pats and the Chargers going on right now. Obviously, if the Bills play the Pats, that's a divisional matchup. And whenever the divisional matchups hit the playoffs, they're fun. But if it's the Chargers, that'll be interesting too, because those are two offenses that could be high powered. But I really think the Bills match up better against the Chargers. So if I'm a Bills fan, the Chargers are the team that I'm looking to play. I'd rather not play the Pats. The Pats have been better than us this past year. So that's, if I'm them, that's who I'm looking to play. And then the Broncos, who the number one seed in the AFC, will be playing the winner between the Steelers and the Texans. And once again, I don't know much about the Texans. So, I mean, I don't know. That's going to be interesting. But Bo Nix and the Broncos have just stepped up to the plate and have come through every single time they've been challenged. So it's going to be interesting. But just overall, my takeaway, even if tomorrow night's game's a blowout, even if the Steelers or Texans beat the shit out of the other team, and even if this game right now, this Chargers and Pats game stays low scoring, more defensive, offenses don't get going, you'll still look at this weekend, and this was a big, big win for the NFL. 4 super competitive games. This one's not a blowout. It is competitive, even though it's defensive. You're not seeing Justin Herbert and Drake May being half as prolific as they normally are, which that comes with playoffs sometimes. Playoffs sometimes make you a little bit more humble, especially as Drake May is a young quarterback. But Justin Herbert could Yu's getting the monkey off his back because he has not been able to be as productive as I think people thought he should be. He's supposed to be a 4,000 yard, 40 touchdown guy every single year that can lead him to the promised land, and he just hasn't been that guy. He's also someone that I almost hope fails because I want the Jets to go after him because I think he'd be great for the Jets. And I think if the Chargers lose this game, I don't think it's completely and totally unrealistic that the Chargers could look at Justin Herbert and say, man, you're a talent, but you haven't been the guy we thought you were. And if they can go up and get a number 2 pick or something like that, they might do it. And he's struggling. I'm watching him right now. He's struggling. He has missed 2 wide open guys streaking up the sideline. Like in this drive alone, he's missed 2 touchdowns. And one's passes that if you're the guy like they expect Herbert to be, you have to. Like I'm watching this replay right now. There's no reason you don't make that throw if you're not Justin Herbert and the guy he's supposed to be. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on. Want to remind everyone, please click the like button if you like what you hear. But let's move on to a quick college football talk because college football did happen. We're going to have Miami and Indiana in the college football playoff championship. The game is being played in Miami's home stadium. It's just how the chips worked out. They put them in these different bowls. They rotate the bowls. And Miami's basically having home field. Indiana's been the best team in the country all year. And Indiana has trounced both Alabama and then Oregon, beat the ever-loving shit out of both of them. So I'm almost expecting much of the same, but Carson Beck and Miami, the U has looked good. I don't have a ton of analysis. As it gets closer, I'll talk a little bit more about it, but I just think it's interesting that you have this matchup where Indiana fought so hard and played great all year. They're 15-0. They 13-0 regular season, 15-0, adding these 2 other wins in the playoff. And now they have to go play an away game at a college football championship Miami game that's going to be packed with Miami fans because it's right in their backyard. It's Miami. That's going to give Miami a huge advantage. Home field in college is the best advantage. College basketball, college football, you can't compare when there is home field and the way those fans rock. So that's going to be interesting to come down to it. All right. Now let's get down to some more nitty gritty. I wasn't much analysis there. I just had to throw in that it's interesting that Miami basically has a home game. But before we get back to the quartering, I want to watch this because I was watching Tuesday night's main event this past Tuesday, Geeks and Gamers. If you don't subscribe to G&G yet, you're out of your mind. Go. Geeks and Gamers is fucking awesome. And every person on here from D-Day Cobra, Beardo, Dan Vask, Epic Mike, who's been on the show at the bottom left there, Kada, Philip Chan, they're all awesome. Those are all people that I highly recommend subscribing to. All of them. They're just fun to listen to. They put on a good thing. But this, unfortunately, this is going to be at one of the friends of the show's, Epic Mike's, expense because I found this clip to be fucking hilarious. So I just wanted to share what happened here. They're reading supers. So
thank you. Frank the Tank with a 5 says, Meek eating hamsters with his south mouth tax. Beardo the homosexual coward is a homosexual coward. Thank you for the 5.
Just Kada.
What does south mouth mean?
That's his
Kada,
butthole.
I'm gonna need you to let
War
it go.
Wizard with a 109 says Beardo. Now,
So before I watched this, I had no fucking clue what a south mouth was. It made sense after I read it, but Kada just keeps pushing, and Meek's reaction is fantastic.
how many hamsters can you fit in Uranus? Thank you for the 199. River Miles with the 5 says, a good father disowns their
Kada?
GameStop subbing child.
To this show.
Kada,
Yes.
let it.
East Coast
used to
Coast
be a
boy with the 10
respectable
months
show.
says Matt Walsh is the type of parent Dan Vask was talking about. Wouldn't be surprised if his kids started having fun with nerd culture after they grow up. Thank you for the 10 months.
Yeah, man, exactly.
Charlotte Freya with a $2 says Bretto is a big
How did
buttocks
you
boy
know
on Bro Island.
South mouth was like, how did you know that?
What is the south mouth?
It's-
Somebody enlighten me.
Just think about
I didn't
it.
even know that.
Stop!
I mean, I think about it
think
now.
about it.
but it's-
Stop!
But like, how
It's
did you know
easy.
that? I've
Wait.
Now, mind you, just some background on this. on my Epic Mike streams, Meek, who's in the bottom corner with the afro, and over on G&G, they have just been destroying him, calling him thickums, making a ton of gay jokes about him. And the chats have just been brutal to Mike lately. But this is just gold because Mike is just begging them to stop.
I've never heard that before.
Stop.
It's easy.
I've heard everything, and I've
just
never heard of
knock
South
it
Mouth.
off.
Think
Yeah.
about it.
I've never.
I mean,
heard
'cause
that.
it's- that
before.
can go
Stop
two
it.
ways.
Too. I've never.
You could be,
heard
you could be
that.
talking about the back door,
Stop.
or you could be talking
Yeah.
about, you hit your knees and you go south.
Makes
Like,
sense. Knock it off.
which one is it? I want to know what that means.
Stop it.
North.
Let it go.
No, somebody educate me, okay? I don't. like
Nobody's
these
gonna
things. I
educate
wanna
you
know
about shit. Knock it off.
Now, Mike, if you watch Tuesday night's main event, Mike is not a stranger to yelling at people here. He's fucking hilarious with his rants, but he's just been getting it every which way. It's been a fantastic clip.
Man, I was on a roll, dude.
Southmouth is crazy.
Shut up about the South Mouth.
I've never heard that.
That's the
I've
craziest
never
thing I've
heard
ever heard in my fucking life.
Now it's like chocolate starfish.
Do you
now
have
South
I'm
Mouth.
so
mouth?
I'm just so fucking tired, bro. It's been a long year.
Oh,
It's been a long
okay, I
fucking
get
You
it.
got
year,
a
bro.
bearded South.
Meek has been saying it's been a long year since like the 4th. It's now the 11th. Well, I mean, Tuesday was now a few days ago. So yeah, it's been a while.
Hurry up, Beardo.
Crazy.
Bearded south,
Yeah.
a goatee on your south
A
mouth.
silencer on the South Mouth.
Bro. I'm telling you guys, it's gonna be a real problem when we get to MegaCon. You guys just fucking keep messing around.
Hey, as long as you keep your Southmouth, away
You'll
from
see
me,
that
then
whole
you'll be fine.
other half of me just, bro. Just,
Freaking. Like, I
Shave
don't.
your south mouth, man.
just
Yeah.
fucking
Beardo, can you hurry up, bro?
airing
I'm
shit
waiting,
out,
dude.
man.
What? Waiting
What are you
for
waiting
what?
for?
Wash your south mouth.
They keep
are you
going
waiting
with
for?
Southmouth.
Wash your South Mouth. With
What are you
soap.
Thank
waiting
you.
for?
Thank you.
So that was basically it. I mean, it's amazing. They just kept going for the rest of the stream. Probably another 20 minutes, 30 minutes of just Southmouth jokes. I am now going to use Southmouth. That is something that when I'm speaking of a butthole, which is not very often, I will be saying Southmouth. Nate, what's going on, my man? How are you today? Random Raccoon saying, guarantee nowadays everyone on the internet would cry these days. This is how things work. No, Random Raccoon, if you want to see some more old school people that just fuck with each other, pick on each other, have a good time, and they're all friends and they mess around, Tuesday night's main event, Gears of Gamers, I would recommend definitely subscribing to G&G and that whole group, G&G, and then on Nerdrotic's page, Friday Night Tights. That's another group. They're similar. Like there's some G&G guys that are over. They kind of cross pollinate. They're all friends with each other. But Geeks and Gamers is more about like movies, gaming culture, and Friday Night Tights is specifically like TV and movie culture. And they're fantastic. They're funny as hell. They give really good perspectives, and people absolutely hate them, which is why you know they're doing things well. So I just wanted to show that clip because I just wanted to now have the inception of Southmouth on the show. We will be using that term and in the future. And I'm sorry, Meek, I didn't mean to have to put this out here for you, but I just thought that I just could not stop laughing when I saw that this past week. I thought it was, I am a fucking child mentally. So when I see something funny like that, talking about like a butthole, that's just hilarious. So quick update. Pats are up 9-3 now. They just got another field goal. So Chargers need to get a touchdown or something. They gotta step it up here. But all right, let's get down to business. We're back with watching Mikey Nomo's documentary, I guess, on the quartering and everything that is the quartering. We left off on chapter 5, the crowdfunding. Now, just a recap. We saw them go through how the quartering started, where he was doing Magic the Gathering streams, RC cars, all that type of stuff, unboxing, and just working a ton and just doing a whole bunch of shit and to see what sticks. We got to the quartering section where he started the quartering, got kicked out of the Magic the Gathering crew, and he's already started with the begging streams every once in a while. So let's continue here and let's finish this up. We got another 45 minutes of this, so let's roll.
Before we get to the post-skeptic era of Jeremy's career, we gotta talk business. Something a lot of YouTubers end up leaning into if they have any long-term thinking. The desire to take your YouTube riches and invest it into something outside of YouTube isn't unique to the quartering. It's basically a requirement for all YouTubers, unless you plan on getting another job or doing YouTube until you hit retirement age, which a shocking amount of middle-aged dudes on this platform unironically seem to plan to do.
Yeah, Lolcow Live is fantastic. Anyone also, Keemstar puts on Lolcow Live. It is funny. It is funny. I will give it that. What's up, Rippa? There's Rippa.
Quartering wasn't wrong to try and duplicate his streams of revenue off-site. Tons of popular YouTubers have made legit off-site businesses off of their YouTube fame and money. The issue is purely an
Now, right there, Random Raccoon as well. Eric July is a part of that whole entire Geeks and Gamers crew and stuff like that. And he started the Rippaverse, which is a comic answer. I don't know if you like comics or anything, but it's basically the answer in comics to Marvel and DC and how much shit they've been. And he started the Rippaverse to do his own comics. And I've liked the Rippaverse stuff. So
execution. Now, some of you might say, well, Mikey, the majority of people who try to make content for a living never get any support. And if they do, they're lucky to just make minimum wage. Jeremy becoming a millionaire off content creation is genuinely an impressive feat. And okay, I don't disagree.
Yep.
But is being a successful content creator the same thing as being a successful businessman? There are literal teenagers who don't know shit about running a business, making an LLC, filing their taxes, or anything besides making videos, indoor streaming, and still end up as millionaires before they can legally drink. Running a successful business and running a successful YouTube channel are two separate enterprises.
I'll 100% say that as someone who does not have a successful YouTube channel. I just have a channel that I stream to. But I mean, this stuff ain't hard. Coming on here, streaming, bullshitting, talking to, interacting with the people that come in and chat and having some things that I want to talk about and just yakking, pulling up articles, pulling up tweets, all that type of shit, watching videos. Like, this is easy. Running a business, that ain't easy. There's a lot of things going on there. So Mikey Nomo is completely correct with that.
I feel most people understand this. Jeremy ain't most people. He's barely human for real. And his admittedly exceptional success as a YouTuber has got to put him under a self-afflicted genjutsu, wherein he believes he's a competent businessman too. He ain't. Closest he ever got was Be Your Own IT, which barely made any money, and which he sold off for more than it was worth the second he got the opportunity. There's also Marketing Sheriff LLC, which is just a small digital marketing.
The fuck is that? I've never even seen that before. That's his quartering logo in red with a hat. I'm guessing the hat makes him a sheriff, but there's not even a badge. Should have at least put like a badge or something up there. The fuck? Listen, the dude just throws every fucking piece of paper he's ever seen against the wall and hopes that a few of them stick. Like, holy crap.
Firm he started in 2014 that would never become a known agency brand and is essentially just a business shell for quartering's online work. Matter of fact, let's go over an entrepreneurial catastrophe of Jeremy's from this time, because it's a great example of what I'm getting at. We go back to late 2018. It's December, and it's a big moment for the Big Ham Planet, because he was launching a...
Does anyone remember Minds? Minds was Ian Crossland's. Part of his when Ian's on Timcast, and they created Minds, and Minds was like a social media free market social media type of thing. I never got into Minds. I heard about it a ton because I watched Timcast and stuff and hearing Ian, but I've never got into Minds. I've actually never in my life either have seen anybody promote their Minds. So this is a first for me here.
New ambitious project. Exclusively games. It was going to be a gaming news website with videos and articles written by journalists along with a forum, all of which quartering pitched as a politics-free haven for gamers. Hey, great idea, bro. How you gonna pay for that? A small forum is one thing, but you're talking about building something like IGN. What a solution to that was simple. He was gonna crowdfund the money. Despite making a pretty heavy bag from YouTube at this point, Quartering still decided to launch an Indiegogo campaign for $5,000.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I've never done like a GoFundMe, what's the other one that the conservatives use? There's another one, or Indiegogo, or I forget the other one, but the other one that's not woke as shit. I've never used any of those. Where the raccoon bros the embodiment of try again, yeah. Caveat ties coming in saying go Quartering. Thank you, Rollin. Let's keep rolling here.
And ain't it interesting how Jeremy, who brags about how much money he makes and who claims he was making
on net probably low sevens.
Okay.
By 2018, still had to crowdfund $5,000 from his fans. Anyway, the campaign was.
So the thing is, what the fuck are you doing with your money? Kickstarter is one of them, but there's another one that not in the gaming space, but Give Send Go. Nate, thank you. Give Send Go. Yes, that's it. But I'm curious here. What the fuck is the Quartering doing with this money? 2018, the guy probably a millionaire. What are we doing? But Kickstarter is woke though. Yeah, most things are. That's the unfortunate part. Most things are woke. Oh, I clicked on Hey Nate. There you go. Hey Nate.
Success. Quartering would end up raising almost $160,000.
That would be nice
by the campaign's end. Okay, we got some motion here, some real fan support. Now you would think when Exclusively Games launched in 2019, everything would be smooth. What with Jeremy getting over 3,000% more than what he initially needed to even get it off the ground. You would be. The site was violently burning through money from day one. The main problem for Exclusively Games came down to two very poorly thought out promises Quartering made beforehand. One was that he was going to be hands-off editorially. This was his way of not scaring the hoes, so to speak. Possibly warding off people who wouldn't want to touch the site because he was affiliated with it. It didn't work, obviously, because you own it, nigga. You were always going to be affiliated with it regardless.
But also, like, you're creating it. You're the known commodity, right? When people support these Kickstarters, these Indiegogos, anything like that, they're supporting mostly the person more than the project. A lot of people will, like, if they'll like a project, that's fine. But you could like whatever project you want. If you don't believe in the person or like the person, you're not going to give your money to it. So that's one of the most retarded things I ever heard in my life. If you're going to start something like that, especially like a news thing, and it's not like people didn't know Quartering in the gaming world. He was on G&G and things like that, and Friday Night Heights. And so he was known within the gaming space too. So as long as you could just fucking write things that are objective and not be retarded, then you can be associated. Like, is he not? Maybe he's just a shit writer too. Maybe there's that part. Maybe he just can't, write a journalistic piece well.
Also meant that when things started getting funky at Exclusively Games, he wouldn't be able to put out the fires because he literally wasn't paying attention to this website he had taken $160,000 from his audience to make.
Yeah, there's also that. You take 160 grand, you fucking better do that. Drunk 3PL, Alex supports my projects. I absolutely do, Drunk 3PL. Talked about it yesterday. I hope Daughter's Revenge is doing well, man. You and X-Wing are friggin' awesome. 100% support you guys. You guys are the best. Let's keep rolling here.
The second bad promise was that he promised there would be no ads. All the money would be made from donations and merch sales. The problem with this idea is that it only really works as a business model if you have a lot of dedicated users/whales. Exclusively Games did not. As for the other problems, well, it'd be simpler for me to just read these messages of people who worked at and used Exclusively Games. He spent $2.5K to have the review section redesigned, ground up. The developers took about 2 to 3 weeks to finish. Isn't he struggling for money? Yup.
This is such a theme for anybody that pays attention. You know, to the quartering throughout his time. Like I said, I've seen some of the quartering, but not a ton. Uh, somehow he's always struggling for money. I don't understand it. He's successful. The quartering's been successful for a really long time. Somehow, apparently, he's always struggling for money. That always fucking surprises me, how he's struggling. Drunk 3PO, I know, shout out. Thanks for always supporting. Of course, Jay. You know, the people that are awesome in this space that deserve it, I will always give shout outs and try to support you guys as much as I can. And, you know, I'll 100% be picking up my copy of Daughter's Revenge and things like that. Caveat I saying comic books. Yes. Rollin, if you haven't gone and picked up your copy of Daughter's Revenge, you should. You'll like it. Okay, let's keep rolling.
Finish, they put the reviews in a staging area. On offline version of the site, only the admins have access to. They worked brilliantly, better than ever. Apparently, Jeremy forgot about it. And despite 2 to 3 emails of them asking if they should go live with the new version, he never responded. I didn't either, but wasn't my job to at this point.
See, that's wild. Like you start something, you spend that type of money, and then you fucking forget about it. Like there's something with being hands off in terms of I'm not going to be directly involved with actually executing what's on the website, right? But being hands off in terms of if you're going to be hands off like that, at least delegate somebody to make the decisions for you, right? If you're still the decision maker on the website, which it seems like he is based off these messages, if you're still going to be the decision maker, then you also need to be the one who responds. Like you can't forget that this thing exists. Holy shit.
The site sounds like it'll be dead in a year. Yeah, it's on fumes now. He's out of money for it 100%. I like Jeremy. He's always been goodish to me. He paid me very well, but I can't save EG, and he wouldn't let me even if I tried. Too controlling. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, he's too controlling, but if you're that controlling, then get your shit together. Control it, right? Like this to me, like it's so like it's so backwards. You're too controlling, but man, Jesus, this is damning.
100% about EG, but it's costly as fuck to go about this the way he is. 160K could keep a website plus staff afloat for maybe 6 to 12 months. This one is my favorite.
Random Raccoon. Now, I would usually stay, Sir Alex, but I'm in the process of creating another one of my ultimate life forms. Oh, you do 3D modeling for commission. Mostly Unity. That's fucking awesome. Good stuff. I listen, I appreciate that you came to hang out, but if you got a commission thing to go get your bag, man. That's really cool. I appreciate you always jumping in, Raccoon. It says my girlfriend does the blender work. Hey, you guys are a great team then. That's awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, go get that bag, man. It's good. It's good seeing you hanging out and stuff like that. I might be back on tomorrow after talking in ovals. We'll see how I feel. I might come in and do an hour after I do the track and field show. Love to show you someday because I think you'd find it cool, but it's up to you, sir. I would love to see it one day. Absolutely. If you ever have something that you would want to like send, you can always go on our X over at the Alex Cuesta show and just DM me over there. You could send me stuff and things like that. That'd be freaking sweet, man. I'd love to see it. Ask Rollin. I love to support our people in the chat that are creatives. Let's keep going here. I want to see what this
Indian devs doing weird shit. He outsourced the site to India? OMG, I didn't tell you? He just fired them last week for sending in bills for things we never ordered. They probably sensed that he didn't have a good grasp of the financial situation, given that he just paid them $2.5K for nothing. So I think they tried to milk a little $100 here, $250 there, and he caught on finally. Yeah, that's right. The quartering outsourced the maintenance of the site he took $160,000 from his fans to create to some random Indians who scammed him. Because of
it's like fool me once, shame on you when it comes to like supporting the quartering financially with shit like this. But fool me twice, shame on me, right? Like he got the support one time, fucking floundered it. Got the support here. Obviously, he's floundering it. I mean, holy shit.
Of course they did. Things started going so bad for Exclusively Games that Jeremy ran a second fundraiser in July 2019 and got another $50K from his mark-ass followers. It didn't help. By May 2020, despite being over $200,000 in the hole, of other people's money, by the way, Jeremy would announce that Exclusively Games was on pause.
When I started this project, it was a passion project, one that I wanted to prove that a website that doesn't rely on outrage.
Hold on. A passion project that he had nothing to do with. Like, this is a passion project for me. Podcasting, streaming, this is a passion project. I enjoy this. I enjoy coming out, talking, whether it was to, you know, the few people I hang out with, like Nate, Raccoon, Rollin, Jay dropping in and shit like that. Like, if I'm just talking to the few people like that, or if eventually this gets massive, or I'm talking to zero. I just like fucking yik-yakking. The passion project, you should be involved, right? If it's your passion, it's something you'd want to do. Rollin saying he does do that. And then also jumping in, fool me 3 times, and there's no fool my, you can't fool me. I don't know if I just can't read, Rollin. Let's keep going.
Can exist in modern day. My plan was to crowdfund as long as it took to eventually build up a YouTube channel that would then fund the channel. Well, after the first 6 months, the YouTube channel really didn't pick up very much steam. It wasn't generating any money. And between paying an editor and people to do social media and to write articles, the money disappeared very quickly. So we ran a second fundraiser.
The money disappeared. You didn't know where it was going. Like, you didn't, like, if you're not involved and you're not going into it, like, if you're, even if it's a business you want to be hands off of, if it's your business, still something that you should be paying attention to. Of course the money dried up. You were just sending it to no one. Drunk 3PO saying, I'm a lurker. Yeah, but you know what, though? You're the best type of lurker, okay, Jay? We accept you. Bad George W reference. It was meant to be hard to read. W. You should have told me, do like the W voice. Fool me there times, and there's no fool mine. You can't fool me. Honestly, the impersonator from Harold and Kumar Go to Guantanamo Bay, the George W impersonator in that movie, easily by far the best W impersonator I have ever seen. Like when that one scene where they fall in and he's running away from Cheney and is like, do you like getting hand jobs? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, do you like giving hand jobs? No. Well, shut the fuck up and smoke my weed. It was amazing. It was so good. It was so good. I fucked up that whole thing, but it was awesome.
And at that point, I had made it my goal to figure out how to get this funded without continuing to ask for handouts, because I wanted the site to exist on its own. Well, that didn't work. I tried running Amazon ads. I tried doing a couple of different, ads like that. At the end of the day, the site really failed to reach critical mass. Much of that falls on me for not advertising it enough.
I mean, I'll take handouts of $200,000 just to fucking fail. Let's go. Give me 200 grand. Come on, guys. Carryout saying haven't seen it. I mean, you're missing out. Harold and Kumar Go to Guantanamo Bay is actually really good. Both Harold and Kumar's. White Castle, Guantanamo Bay, they're both really good. I laughed my ass off at both of them.
Some disgruntled fans of the Quartering, unamused by his bullshit, launched an imitation site, also called Exclusively Games, with the same logo, forum, and even Twitter handle. It didn't last for long, but it goes to show the passion that some of the Quartering's fans had was genuine, and he could have actually had something on his hands if he was just more competent. All in all, it turned out to be more of a money-burning exercise than anything else. Made Game Finder almost look competently executed by comparison. And that's just the beginning. There was also that time in 2020 when the pandemic was taking the world by storm that Quartering would obtain a $32,500 PPP loan for Marketing Sheriff LLC.
Wait, He actually got a PPP loan for something he barely used for 32 and a half. Dude, the guy just finds ways to make money. Like, he should go and just teach DSP how to do this. Like, he should just go and teach DSP exactly how to go about just fucking getting money. Like, holy shit. This is world class, man.
As part of the COVID-19 relief program, a loan which was fully forgiven by the government. Now, Jeremy is far from the only businessman to take advantage of this program during the pandemic. But Jeremy, who likes to think of himself as a real businessman who got it out the mud and didn't take handouts, gets a little upset when people compare PPP to other types of loan forgiveness. It's okay, bro. You're not less of a man just because you got off on PPP. You are less of a man because at that time you ran away from a bread tuber in August of 2020, though.
Oh my God. Okay. We're getting more into it. Caveat eyes saying piss poor people loan. Just another quick update. Chargers and Patriots. Patriots get a touchdown here. They're starting to be in control. Good pass by Drake May. Beautiful pass. Fucking hate that the Patriots are good too. But beautiful pass. Patriots in control here. Looks like the Chargers are going to be in trouble. That goes well for me. Chargers lose. Get mad that Justin Herbert hasn't got you there yet. Be willing to take the number 2 pick off our hands. Give me Justin Herbert. Anyway, let's keep going. Chapter 6, the quartering.
What happened is one evening, Quartering's wino tendencies got him into some trouble again. While drunk, he badgered and eventually agreed to a debate with the Surf Times if the Surf Times could raise $5K for charity.
I have no idea who the Surf Times is. Caveat saying, come on, Chargers. Yeah, no, it ain't looking good right now. It ain't looking good. Hunter Henry just got a big touchdown. Drake May's playing better. It's 16-3. 9:45 left in the fourth. I'm sorry, Rollin. It ain't looking good.
The Surf Times then went on to raise 8 times that for a trans charity. Now, when the time came for Jeremy to show up or shut up, he ran. He ran away with his tail tucked.
So let's read this real quick. I had scheduled a debate with a harsh critic of mine. In good faith, I agreed to speak to them for charity's sake. This week, they have taken to a charity live stream and raised money, spreading absurd lies about me and showing anything but good faith. I should have known. Hold on, wait. You didn't say he had to be fucking nice to you the whole time. If he didn't like you, then why would he be nice to you? You didn't say, hey, you need to go raise the charity while being a fucking saint and being nice to me. Nate's saying that dude from the Surfs got absolutely embarrassed on Timcast a while back. I think I remember that. I mean, most leftists that talk don't know what the fuck they're talking about, right? He just had that chick Erin on with Katie, and it was just Tim and Erin arguing, and God, it was so hard to listen to. It was so hard to listen to, and it's like they're so snooty about the way that. I mean, I would have any leftists on the show. I would talk to leftists. I don't care. But it's like you just got to be prepared for them to just be next level snooty, pretend like that, like they just know more than you, and you don't know things, and they just come at you with talking points, and they're all just super prepared. Let's keep rolling.
Between his fat thighs.
I had scheduled a debate with a harsh critic of mine. In good faith, I agreed to speak to them for charity's sake. This week, they have taken to a charity live stream and raised money, spreading absurd lies about me and showing anything but good faith.
No way. No way.
I should have known.
No way.
I'll keep to my word about donating money, but this will be the last time I agree to speak to these people in good faith. I've maintained radio silence, not engaged or fired shots at them, but they simply couldn't be bothered to extend the same comedy.
Boy.
It goes on. Moving forward, it's pretty hilarious how these folks consider themselves so full of virtue. I wonder what the charity would think about them using the platform of raising money to help trans people was at least partly funded by harassing and bullying others.
Oh my, hold on. Wow. This is the problem with so many of these people, and it looks like, again, this is number 2 for Jeremy doing this, right? If you're going to sit there and be one of the people that talk shit, that want to be like one of these guys on the internet that is tough, you can't fucking cry when people are mean to you. When people fucking talk shit. You can't be mad about that. And the thing is, too, like, it's a badge of honor when people are willing to talk that type of shit about you, right? Like, and not just one, but like if it's a group of people that actively dislike you, like that's honestly, you're doing something right. And then bitching and whining about it and then going on fucking crazy and terrible. Caveat Ty saying Herbert is deciding just to win the game by himself. Yeah, I saw that was a good run there. I mean, they got to do something. They need a touchdown here. If they don't get a touchdown this drive, they are in very deep trouble. Nah, let's go. Keep going.
Hypocrites, as usual.
This motherfucker really ducked the debate with a bread tuber. Grown-ass man who talks shit about other people for a living, who one of his biggest gravy trains was making fun of other people in the Magic community and obsessing over Brie Larson, was crying because a bread tuber was cyberbullying him. My thoughts on this are encapsulated by a tweet by Vouch of all
Oh
people.
my God.
What
Vouch.
an unbelievable pussy. The Quartering said he'd only debate at the Surfs TV if he gave $5,000 to charity. So Lance went ahead and raised over $40,000 for Transmutual Aid in a massive 36-hour marathon. And now the Quivering is backing out. Just embarrassing.
So the thing is, too, I actually find it kind of fucking gross that they raised $40K for fucking trans people. Like, bleh! It's Transmutual Aid. What the fuck does it even mean? Caveat Ty saying fumble. Yeah, I saw. I mean, Chargers are shooting themselves in the foot, man. Shooting themselves in the foot. Let's keep rolling.
But what's amazing is that this still wasn't the most embarrassing thing to have happened to the Quartering that month. The
best part about all of this is I don't pay attention to Jeremy at all. Like, he's not one of the people I truly follow. Like I said, I've seen, he's on one of my X lists because he's a person that, obviously says things and is someone that sometimes has good points. And he's someone that, like I said, I've watched some of his clips. Every once in a while, I've jumped on the Quartering if I think he's talking about something interesting. But he's not someone I've truly paid attention to. I don't give a shit about anything that he generally says for the most part. Like, if it's interesting, I'll watch it. If I think but outside of that, like, I don't go seeking out the Quartering. I don't have to watch the Quartering. It's not something that, like, he's on my list. Like, people that listen know I like Tim Cass. They know I like Glenn Beck. I like Pat Gray. I like Side Scrollers. I'll watch Tuesday night's Main Event. I'll watch Friday Night Tights and stuff like that. And if obviously I'll support Jay, Drunk 3PO, and X-Wing and things like that. So it's like I have my group of people that I like to kind of listen to. But Quartering is not one of them. So I'm finding out all this shit for the first time. There's something more embarrassing than this. What the fuck are we going on? What's going on here? In the words of Epic Mike, what are we doing?
Honor goes to something before this, to Pissgate, the time Jeremy got blackout drunk and pissed in his basement.
You never know. Maybe I'm going to pee in my trash can down here. I don't know. My wife went out.
Which is the reason for the thumbnail yesterday. I actually probably should have reversed kind of the thumbnails, because yesterday I had Jeremy's face on the little peeing dude, the little kid that pees onto like logos and shit that people put on their trucks for some fucking reason. But I threw his face on there of him peeing in a basement. So it was a little bit, Caveat Ty saying I watched a guy put out a hit piece about Criticless was trash. What possibly could they put out about Criticless? Like, Criticless is like one of the most open source type of things. Not open source, but all you do is go on there and you put your opinion about movies and TV. You don't have to agree generally with the person that created it. Like, if you don't like Blaine's politics, it's fine. But even if you don't like Blaine's politics, you're more than welcome to go put your movie reviews, your TV reviews. No one's stopping you from doing that. Someone may comment on it and say it sucks, but that's about it. Fuck do you do a hit piece about Criticals for? Criticals is awesome. All right, let's keep going.
For pizza without me, and I'm angry about it.
Oh boy.
So I'm gonna win this round, and I'm gonna pee. If I don't win this round, I'm gonna pee in my own basement.
Oh Jesus.
What do we think about that? I don't have a bathroom down here. I was ready to pee my pants.
This is a word to the wise. Don't stream while drunk. Like, I'll have a beer every once in a while doing a stream. But anyone that wants to go stream, don't stream while drunk. Nothing good comes from streaming while drunk. It's not a good thing. Caveat Ty saying the guy also did a hit piece on Gamersgate and Film Threat. It's the only things that get reviews. Caveat Ty is also saying it turned more into a hit piece about playing. Caveat Ty saying who hasn't peed in their own basement. I have not peed in my own basement. I have not. I will put that out there. I peed outside. My last basement had a bathroom in it, so I guess technically I peed in my basement. It had a bathroom in there, so I did it. But yeah, no. Caveat, who the hell is this creator that is doing that? I kind of want to go watch it. Maybe I'll make fun of it. That could be a fun little stream where we fuck with other people. Because here's the thing. I have no problem talking shit when I think I need to talk shit. And I think debating's gay. I'll have a conversation. I don't do debate. Like, debating to me is like, I don't like to prepare and I'm fucking lazy. Like Andrew Wilson, Rob Noor, they're fucking awesome. They prepare for debates. They destroy people. I'm not the type that's going to go and like do like a ton of prep work and shit like that. For me, it's like, I'll just have someone to come talk. If they want to try and like turn it into a debate, whatever, but I'll have anyone on to talk. Nate's saying, I disagree. Some people are hilarious. Rex when drunk. Love the drunks of the Dabbleverse. I mean, yes. If it's their shtick, like I know Kirsha too. Kirsha will drink on and while she's doing a stream. But I guess, okay, Nate, I guess I'll retract that. Some people should not get wasted on stream. Some people just can't do it. Caveat Ties, I'll give you the info. Thank you, Caveat. Okay, let's keep going.
I'm ready. I don't have a toilet down here. All I have is a drain in the floor. I feel like we're gonna have to use it though. I gotta pee so bad. I gotta pee so bad. I'll never survive this round.
So hold on, wait. His wife went out for pizza without him. He's in his own basement of his own home. Yesterday, I quite literally said, hey guys, I'll be back. And I went to take a piss and you guys looked at a fucking chair in my background for a little. Why couldn't he just go upstairs and pee in his fucking home instead of in... I don't know. Let's keep going.
I'm not going to survive this round. I got to pee so bad. Nobody's been eliminated either. Get up! Get up! No!
Jesus. Movies with Mark. Thank you, Caveat. I'll write that down.
I've literally never lost that round. But I'm ready. I'm ready now.
Of all the videos he's deleted, he didn't delete this one? You peed in your fucking basement? That's one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard in my life. You don't... And mind you, at this point, he's got a ton of money. Just install a fucking bathroom down there. Like one of the little like step-up bathrooms. They're not hard to pay someone to do. You just go install one of those little step-up bathrooms. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. I just peed in my basement. No, not in the kitty litter. Just in the drain. In the drain. Look, if you want to watch a streamer that wants to pee in the potty, go watch someone else. When you're a pro gamer like me, yeah, I mean, if you're a dude if you want to watch a dude that's going to piss in the fucking overflow tank in his basement, that's who I am.
What a fucking weirdo.
I'm not taking a pause to pee.
I guess you can just get away with shit like this when you're just known for regurgitating news 5 to 6 times a day. And that's the story of how the Quartering, aka PP Piss Piss Boy, relieved himself on the floor of his basement. All in all, 2020 wasn't the best year for Jeremy.
I'm still floored by that. And it's like, here's the thing. It's one thing if you're a dumbass teenager to do dumbass shit, right? Teenagers, especially teenage boys, do dumb fucking shit. Can't say I've ever peed in a basement, my own or anybody else's, right? If I was ever at a friend's house and we chilled in their basement, I had to pee, I'd either go upstairs or go figure out a way outside and go pee in a fucking bush. But a grown ass man with a ton of money can't just go because he's fucking wasted. Bizarre.
A lot of it came down to, well, him. But the alcohol definitely helped.
The Shilling, Chapter 7.
We jump to 2022, the year, in my opinion, that's been the most fateful for the Quartering after 2017. It was the year he would purposely shackle the heaviest ball and chain he could to his ankle, voluntarily branding himself with a brand of sacrifice that would see financial demons hunting him down for years to come. This was the year that he would, in May, announce coffee brand coffee.
Now, anyone that knows, I've never had any coffee brand coffee. I just buy whatever is in the supermarket. Like I said, I like Tim Pool. I've never bought fucking Casper coffee either, or anything like that. I have no clue if his coffee's any good or not. But still, it's like, I don't know. The coffee grift is, Nate, you said it last night. The coffee grift is probably the most popular grift amongst all YouTubers, all streamers, everything like that. If you get popular, you have to fucking sell coffee. I think it's in the contract. I think when you become, a YouTube monetized officially or like a Twitch affiliate, they're like, hey, you have to sell coffee. I feel like that's part of it. I feel like that becomes part of it.
If you've been on my channel for any amount of time, you know I've spent the better part of the last 5 years covering companies who have gotten woke and eventually gotten broke, lamenting how major companies like Disney or even ice cream makers or comic books have at best become politically divisive and at worst outright attack their own customers. Well, I've sat on the sidelines long enough and I've decided that I was going to put my money where my mouth was and get into the game. Introducing Coffee Brand Coffee.
By the way, I always thought that name was retarded. Coffee Brand Coffee. I'm trying to figure out what it actually, like, it's the brand's name is just call it fucking coffee then. Hi, I'm selling you coffee. Caveat ties. Buy my coffee. Yeah, if you go watch a Quartering stream, you will hear that many a time.
So yeah, I bought a coffee company.
And man, Quartering would really act like this was going to be his biggest move yet. That this was going to be the crown jewel of his entrepreneurial journey. What it would actually turn out to be is a financial burden, a money pit, and a masterclass on how not to run a business. First, we'll start with the conceptual phase. From the beginning, Jeremy's attitude with this business ordeal of his was a little problematic. He talked about all the other businesses he's covered over the years that have failed, but presenting their failings as a result of them just
gotten woke and eventually gotten broke.
Never mind that there have been woke-free and straight-up anti-woke businesses that have also gone broke.
Yes, absolutely. There's been a lot. Nate G saying Luis J. Gomez just got into the coffee business. Everyone gets into the fucking coffee business. Caveat Ty saying Geeks and Gamers should sell energy drinks. Geeks and Gamers should, I know they have a lot of mods and stuff. They should have all their mods write down some of the fucking funniest like quotes and things that happened every year. And I know Danky does the best of for all like the regulars, like Beardo's like 4.5 hours fucking long. But they should sit there and pick like the top quote, funniest fucking thing said that year by all their regulars and make a shirt for each of them. And people would eat up some of those funny ass quotes. It would be good, but energy drinks would also be good. That would also be funny.
But Jeremy had fooled himself into believing that as long as he didn't become an obnoxious ideologue, his coffee company would magically make money. That's not how this works. Conceptual phase problem number 2. Starting a coffee company as your breakout business as a YouTuber is so played out, it's basically parody at this point. Like, how much coffee do these niggas think the average person drinks? And that ain't even the worst of it. Because if you're a content creator and you start your own coffee brand, your main competition isn't going to be the other content creator-owned coffee brands. It's going to be the mainstream brands of coffee everybody already buys and are readily available on shelves at Walmart, Target, Costco, etc.
And on top of that, and I don't know if Mikey Nomo is going to get to this, all that coffee you see there is cheaper than the coffee that they sell. And usually it's like for a smaller bag than you fucking see here. So it's like me as a streamer so much that you're willing to pay more to get less, to get probably a similar quality coffee to any of the fucking brands there. I have to say, we started drinking Death Wish coffee, which I never had before another parent over at the pickup line for my kids for just a random day. My wife and I were both able to go pick my kids up. And one of the moms walks by and it's a colder day and she's holding coffee and I smell it. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And she was like, it's coffee, just regular coffee. I'm like, that is not regular coffee. She told me it was Death Wish. Let me say, Death Wish is dope. Good coffee. I don't get paid shit from Death Wish. I don't know what they're affiliated with, anything like that, but I drink Death Wish coffee now. It is fantastic. It's a low acidity. Doesn't make you have to, it doesn't make you feel like shit at all. It's solid. So I recommend if anyone's a coffee drinker, Death Wish coffee's dope. Let's keep rolling.
This brings us to conceptual phase problem number 3. The name. Quartering naming his coffee company Coffee Brand Coffee is simultaneously the most arrogant and most retarded thing he has ever done.
I agree.
The cojones on this pendejo that give his coffee this placeholder ass name and this generic minimalist off-brand aesthetic really speaks to how high he had gotten on his own supply.
Nate, you saying Death Wish is so expensive. It is expensive, but it's good. And I'm not the type of person that drinks like 2 or 3 cups a day. So for me, it's my morning cup. So it's not that bad. Like we don't go through it as much. And honestly, it's so good. Like I may consider going on like their website and seeing how much it is to like buy like a bulk amount of it just to fucking get it shipped. It's probably cheaper. Illy is really good coffee too. I've had a cup of Illy. I do like that one. They are good and they're cheaper too. I think they're a little bit cheaper, but yeah, no, I've listened. For me, I'm the type of person that if you're giving me a good product, I'm willing to spend. Never had Death Wish. I recommend it. Illy's good too. Nate's right. Illy is also good coffee, but I'm willing to spend. I saw you wrote dishwasher. I'm willing to spend money on something that's good. I'm not the type of person that's going to for example, what's a good example? There's some like shit things that are like store brand, and some people will just eat the store brand or buy the store brand because it's cheaper. But there's other things that's like I'm not doing that, right? Orange juice, a good example. I have Stop and Shop and Price Chopper by me. Those are our supermarkets. Their orange juice ain't as good. Period. It's not as good. I like the Simply Orange. I like the way that flavor is. I don't know how healthy it is. It's probably not fucking healthy. Nothing is healthy besides squeezing an orange into a fucking cup. I get it. But I prefer that. I will spend the extra money on Simply Orange. Just to go, I don't like Tropicana. I think Tropicana is a little too processy, sweet tasting. I think Simply Orange tastes better. But I'll spend the extra money than not getting the Stop and Shop brand or the Price Chopper brand or the Walmart brand or Target brand if I venture out to those because everyone has fucking food attached to it now. But it's like I'm willing to spend the Omaha steaks. I'll get the Omaha steaks. I bought store brand steaks before for a long time. And then me and my wife were like, the fuck are we doing? We both like steak. That steak has gotten shittier in the stores. It hasn't gotten any better. Let's get some good steak. And we've even considered we have the fair by us every year. And every year at the fair, you can buy a cow and they'll slaughter a cow for you. And you can take the meat from the cow. We've considered doing that with some of our family members. And it's like, and that actually ends up being cheaper in the long run throughout the year. But it's like, you just got to pay sometimes for some shit that's like, worth it, right? Like if it's good stuff, they make a quality product. It's better than buying like the knockoff or some shit like that. Nachi saying, keep it 100. You have to get the good stuff sometimes. Also saying, gotta buy the Tillamook block cheese. Can't stand the brand or pre-shredded nonsense. My kids like the pre-shredded shit. I mean, it depends on what I'm putting it on. If I'm putting it on like a taco, I don't fucking care, right? If I'm putting it on a taco, I don't care. If I'm getting something to like a good stick of Parmesan or something, then I'll go and get like one of the more Italian brands and stuff like that. I'm not like a massive cheese guy personally. So that's something that like, unless like I'm like grating it and putting it onto pasta or something like that, that's about it. Caveat Ty saying, Charmin, my wife don't want anything else. Yeah, there's some things you don't skimp on. Nate Cheese, same with the cream cheese. Tillamook, I don't allow anything Philadelphia in my house. I understand that. Let's keep rolling.
Really thought he was like that he could sell this shit based on his own name recognition. Maybe he even thought that his giant audience would buy up his whole stock in the first year, so he wouldn't need to make use of that masters in internet marketing and actually market his product to him. He would be wrong. Because Quartering would spend the next few years from the time he launched it to the date of me making this video, struggling to sell his generic, boring, overpriced coffee to anyone, including his fans. Turns out when you name your product something that if you put it into Google, you get 9,000 other products first, it's kind of hard to sell. You would think a dude with a degree in marketing would know that, but I guess not. So literally, before the company even got off the ground, the odds of it being a success were already in the single-digit percentage range. If Jeremy had consulted anybody else first, maybe the future woes he would have had to endure could have been avoided. But that's the downside of being rich and also being your own boss. You develop an ego and start thinking you don't need to get a second opinion on shit. Bro really started thinking he was the Elon Musk of YouTube, who he loves, by the way. Jeremy's admiration of Elon is so strong, in fact, that in December of 2022, after Elon bought Twitter, Jeremy got overexcited, got piss boy levels of drunk again, and had a meltdown about how much he loved Elon and wanted to eat his semen just like he ate Sargon's.
The thing is, and I get it. I get so many people that like Elon. Elon's a genius. Elon's going to go down as one of the greatest inventors of all time, one of the most innovative people that have ever lived in human history. And it's like interesting when you're living through times like that, you don't realize it, right? Like we realize Trump is historic because Trump is a president, right? We realize he's historic, that he's going to be remembered, I think personally, for doing, if his plan works out the way it is looking to shape up, in terms of foreign and economic, and I think it's just gross, that picture on the screen, but it's funny. Then he's going to end up being one of the most consequential people in the history of the world, Donald Trump. Not just as a president of the United States, but as someone that in the history of the world, he's going to be known in the history books as someone that reshaped the planet so that the United States could be back, on top. So not back on top, but like securely on top. No one else challenging us again. So it's weird when you're living through people that aren't, it's not obvious, but it's obvious enough that we're seeing history with Elon Musk. He is going to be one of history's, remembered as one of history's best inventors, a person with the space race. And listen, just because you're in the lead doesn't mean you're going to win, right? Right now, Elon is one of the most innovative people in the world, but there are other billionaires chasing on his coattails closer than we can even imagine, right? Virgin space has been a thing forever. Branson's not going to stop. Bezos isn't going to stop. Like these individuals just want to, keep it going. So it's going to be interesting. Caveat Ty saying Broncos versus Bills now. Yes. That's going to be a good one. I think that's going to be a fun one. All right, let's get off this picture.
I literally got out of bed to make this video. My most important video that I've literally ever made on this channel. I'm tired. I've been working 14 hours a day. I'm on fumes.
It was a great photo.
Like
okay, Roland.
pure gas. But this decision, this minute, this moment is so important that I'm willing to F up my entire week. I'm blowing my entire notification window for this video because it's important. It's the most important video I've ever done. Elon Musk has put out a poll. Should I step down as head of Twitter? It is currently 56.3% to 43.7%. It's actually gotten a little bit closer. I need you to go to Elon Musk's Twitter right now. Go to his poll and vote no.
So what was...
I mean, why? Like, who could... I don't know. Like, why is it that important? Like, I get it. In the time it was important. I was looking at it going, I'll be fucking retarded if Elon steps down, right? I mean, this is the most important video. Like, what? Bizarre.
Quartering's brilliant idea on how he was going to sell his coffee? By shilling it, constantly and shamelessly. Shilling your own products isn't the worst thing in the world.
No,
it's
we all
actually
do it.
quite respectable to sell something to your audience that you made yourself rather than shill products to some random company whose stuff you might not even use or would have endorsed if you weren't receiving a check for it. But the problem with Jeremy's shilling of CBC is volume and desperation. Quartering would literally never miss an opportunity to shill coffee brand coffee. The pinnacle of Quartering's relentless quest to shill coffee brand coffee. Just the moment that really embodies how desperate this dude has been to sell a single bag of this overpriced bullshit of his is when on June 8th of 2022, when Tim Pool, a longtime associate of Quartering's and fellow YouTube news slopper, got swatted during one of his Timcast streams. Now the chat was still live while Tim and the others were away, and while they were, the Quartering went into Tim's chat and shilled his fucking coffee. This is a high-stress moment, likely a great moment to brew up a delicious cup of coffee brand coffee if the stress is getting you. Perhaps one of our new teas will calm you? Maybe a velvety cup of coffee brand cocoa.
I mean, wow. Wow. How do you do that? You're on somebody else's stream. Like, I get it. He's super chatting. He's paying. These are like basically paid promotions. But how do you have the gall to go on somebody else's stream and fucking show your product? Like, Jay could have easily came on here, and Jay's a much bigger creator than I am, you know, has better following, makes money doing this. And Jay could have came on here and been like, hey guys, fuck Alex, go buy my comic. No, he came on here, he said, what's up? Said thank you for supporting him. And, you know, then went on to do whatever he's doing. You know, I took it out of my time to say, hey guys, go get his comic because I think it's dope. You know, his graphic novel, go do that. But it's like, man, the goal. And while he's away too, while they were getting swatted, you think to fucking promote your coffee. Oh man. Rollin saying, I want to figure out how to show my stuff. Also caveat ties. Maybe I should. Oh, you mean that is bad? I mean, to all 2 or 3 of you in the chat, you can go ahead, Rollin. You can go ahead and promote it. Hopefully they go and grab it.
Jeremy did this like 4 or 5 times before Tim returned, and even replied with further shilling under all of Tim's tweets.
I heard, you know what the craziest thing was? When we were outside, right, and cops were in the suite, we just kept hearing coffee brand coffee. And I was like, listen, coffee. And I was like, what? Looking around. And then I open the chat, and all I see is chat's coffee brand coffee. I'm like, what's happening? Quartering. Jeremy. He gave us $400.
More than that.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Bro literally has no sense of shame. Now what's funny is that Quartering joked on Twitter, look, I'm not saying I caused the swatting at Tim Pool's house just to hawk my delicious coffee, organic teas, and indulgent cocoas, but I'm not saying that.
So I'm struggling here. I would say that as cocos. Like hot cocoa. Is it cocoa? Am I saying it wrong? My whole like I've heard it pronounced both ways. I've heard people just call it like cocoa, like a cocoa plant. I heard like you don't pronounce the A or cocoa. I don't know what the proper one is. I've heard more people saying it lately as like cocoa, and I've been wondering if it's that one thing where it's like when you see a Jaguar car, you call it Jaguar, but then you have those people trying to be fancy, like the gay ass commercial, because they Jaguar. Like, which one is it?
And then proceeded to get swatted himself just a few hours later.
That's what you get, fam. Push you. Yeah, blood. Whose end are you coming to now, fam?
Despite all this shilling, hawking, suspiciously hyper-positive 5-star reviews, and promises about how he'd get coffee brand coffee on store shelves by the end of 2022, reception to Quartering's coffee has always remained mixed, and he's always struggled to sell any of it. Now, just because Quartering was sinking in the commercial quicksand that was his coffee company, that wouldn't stop him from starting another business just a year later.
I had no idea.
See, this is how cocky bro was. He was just swimming in money, huffing in all his mustiness, thinking he was gonna be.
Caveat tie saying cocoa. Thank you. That's what I say. Gay people being fancy say cocoa. I'm not gonna call Mikey No Mo gay. I like him. He makes good documentaries. But yeah, no, I feel like it's like the Jaguar instead of Jaguar.
Making 9 figures by 2030 or whatever. The motivation for this particular capitalist venture, however, wasn't just Quartering's desire to have a legitimate business, it was to simp.
The simping.
Specifically, the simp for Sydney Watson,
Oh,
the
my
Australian-American former Blaze employee who, along with Elijah Schaefer, who was also present at Jan 6 and went inside the Capitol building in Nancy Pelosi's office with Bait Alaska and even took a picture of Nancy Pelosi's email, but was the only person who went inside the Capitol and never faced any punishment for it, for some reason. Hosted the show You Are Here Together after Sydney left.
Which I have to say, I listened to You Are Here. You Are Here was fucking hilarious, okay? You Are Here was funny. And Elijah was funny on it. They had awesome guests. John Doyle was great on there all the time. Sydney was fine for the most part until the end. It was very obvious when Sydney was ready to dip out. Her whole demeanor changed. Her whole tone changed. Everything about her changed. And she got dressed down by, I think it was Jack Murphy, because she asked him a question about being a fucking cuck, and he flipped out on her, and Elijah didn't defend her, and she kind of did a real shit job about defending herself. And everything changed, and then she filed this sexual harassment suit, which I forget who looked at. He's a law tuber. God, I know his name. He's a fucking good law tuber. I like him. He lives over in Asia somewhere. This law tuber. He's really good. He broke down the whole lawsuit and just talked about how fucking frivolous it was. And it was feminist fucking gobbledygook that was on there. I mean, Caveat tie saying, like those guys who say mitten without their T's, mitten. Yeah. Nate's saying the guy narrating sounds woke as fucking. He isn't actually. He's the same one that did the iDubbbz one. Mikey No Mo just goes and makes fun of fucking dumbass people on YouTube. That's all he does. He does these documentaries of people on YouTube that are just fucking, they've lost their way and they deserve to be made fun of. All right, let's keep going.
Left the Blaze and got in a lawsuit with him, she was kind of left in a bad spot. So Jeremy decided to bust out his cape and play Captain Save a Sheila, and they would, in late 2022, start a new show together called Community Notes. But the Save a Sheila didn't stop there. Now, in March 2023, Quartering would team up with Sydney to launch a whole website called The Publica. The Publica would be a...
I mean, yeah, I do remember seeing all of this. Nate's saying, why is he wigging about J6? He's not wigging about J6. He's wigging about Elijah. It's been very much rumored lately that Elijah's a Fed because Elijah gets away with a lot of shit. And listen, I liked Elijah Schaffer. He's gone off the fucking deep end with a lot of his takes. We've actually been in communication about him jumping on the show, but that never came out. Never came to, and no hard feelings, right? Elijah, again, is significantly bigger. Slightly Offensive used to be funny too. I used to watch Slightly Offensive. I enjoyed that, but he's not, I don't think he's wigging out about J6 itself. It was the fact that Elijah is like the only one. Like Steve Baker from The Boys fucking walked around and the FBI contacted him. Elijah Schaffer has that picture and everything. And yeah, he's no repercussions at all. Now, he went and lived in Australia for a little while. I think he's back in LA. So I don't know if he just kind of evaded it and waited until Trump got back into power so that the FBI would just not come after him. So I don't know that, but he was in LA for a little while, even after that, before going over to Australia, which his wife Kez is from. So it's not like he went there randomly. His wife is from Australia, but he wasn't it wasn't necessarily wigging out about J6. It was just the circumstances. And I've seen a lot of it going around on X right now that Elijah's a Fed. I don't know what the fuck the answer is. I think anyone that people like, we call Nick Fuentes a Fed and shit like that. So, meh. Caveat Ty saying, hopefully he never does one on you. Hey, listen, if he does one on me, then that means that I did something right on YouTube and I at least got enough clout, made some fucking money, and then became a dumb motherfucker. But at least I did something. I mean, it would be a badge of honor, honestly, to get one made about me. Why not? Caveat Ty saying, I remember all this. Nate G saying, oh, okay, I'm not familiar with Elijah's work. Yeah. If you go look at Elijah now, you might just be like, he's nuts. But before that, while You Are Here and stuff, like I actually really, You Are Here was fucking funny. It was they did like a whole entire fun, like the chat was just wild, especially for a Blaze show. Wild. And they did like a whole fund to like take away Sydney's rights fund. And she's a known atheist. So they had like the flying spaghetti monster shirt because she would make fun of that, which is whatever. It was funny. And people have to remember, Elijah Schaffer got big because he was one of the people on the ground during riots and asking questions of people and took some fucking lumps while doing it. So he got big because he would go into these big riot zones and do interviews and commentate and things like that and get into that. So that's where Elijah Schaffer got his fame from. Caveat Ty saying, but he switched to Melanie Mack. Now both seem to be gone. And he had, I believe he went to Hannah Claire Brimlow for a little when Timcast dropped her. So let's keep going here.
Politics and culture news site for free thinkers and mischief makers that will be a grassroots alternative to mainstream media. And Quartering would front $2,500,000 into this venture.
It's disappointing to hear about Sydney, but I don't know why anyone takes Lauren Southern seriously. Yeah, I mean, I was heartbroken when I saw her messages. She like literally told people, I went out of my way to try and help her with her tea company. And she had no idea how to do fulfillment or any of this shit. And I was like, hey, let me help you with that. And because she didn't like the price that it would cost me, by the way, I was making no money on it. She told all these other people in these private DM groups that I was ripping her off. But by the way, meanwhile, I had paid about $250,000 to start the Publica, and she'd paid $0.
Jesus Christmas. Nate saying, still can't believe the Blaze would let Primetime 99 go. You have to remember, the Blaze. So I'm going to do something talking about like where we're going. And I'm going to do one day giving my opinions on what's going on next. Okay. Because the Blaze is in a transition right now. Because yes, Glenn Beck hasn't been the owner for a long time now. There's been someone else running the show, but Glenn has been directly involved and was still there. Glenn has now started the torch. So he's off to a different venture. The Blaze is going to go through a lot of reshuffling because you got to remember, the Blaze had Primetime, had Primetime 99. The Blaze had Eric July. The Blaze had a lot of these different individuals that, I mean, they were good. I think Eric still does things with the Blaze, but there's going to be a transition. And I in a future stream, I'm going to talk about kind of what the transition may look like, in my opinion. Nate G saying Lauren Southern sucks. God, Lauren Southern, fall from fucking grace, man. I mean, when you have sex with Destiny, what the fuck? At least allegedly. I don't know if she actually did. That's what I heard. Don't sue me, Lauren. I heard that. But holy shit. She, documentary and stuff like that. I know she was working with Tim Pool and Timcast. She was on Timcast a good amount initially. But man, fall from grace for her. Caveat ties $2,500,000. Yeah, $2,500,000. I wish I had $2,500,000 to go white knight for a fucking Australian.
Nigga, you's a mark. Nigga, you's a lame. Nigga, you's a nerd. Nigga, you soft. Nigga, you frail. Nigga, you look like you a tail. Nigga, you's a buster. Nigga, you's a sucker. Nigga, you look like if your bitch told you she fucked another nigga but say she won't do it again. Nigga, you look like you a truster.
This thirsty ass, happily married man threw $250,000 away in a vain attempt to build a new media empire with Sydney Watson.
I'll tell you this. My wife would divorce me if I said that I was going to go and throw $250,000 at a news site with just one other chick who just got done with a sexual harassment fucking lawsuit that I don't know if she won. I have no idea the result of that sexual harassment lawsuit, but the fact that she filed one and I'm going to go in as just a dude and give this chick money? She fucking divorced me and I would deserve it. Nate G saying it's been confirmed the whole Destiny arc is 100% true. Woof. Jesus. Caveat Ty saying, how much is that? Do they mean $250,000? Yeah. $250,000. $250,000 is what he spent.
Quarterin likes to say shit like,
I learned long ago that internet foins is dumb. That's why I don't do collabs. So I don't take selfies with other YouTubers. I'm just here to get on my grind.
But I don't know, Jeremy. Throwing $250,000 into a collab with a bitch you barely know is definitely a few steps beyond what most people would do for their internet friends. Jeremy actually really wants internet friends more than the average e-celeb does. He yearns for acknowledgement and acceptance from his peers like Dankula, Sargon, Tim Pool, and especially conservative women like Sydney, along with Lauren Southern, Lauren Chin, and pretty much any other right-wing chick he tried to bait using his money. Sydney barely gave him crumbs of attention before, by the way. But now that she was in a vulnerable state and having burned several bridges with conservative influencers she probably shouldn't have, she had to rely on Jeremy, who swooped in to be the extremely awkward and creepy hero that Sydney probably didn't want but definitely deserved. And when I say,
I mean, like, I don't want to make this sound mean. A lot of people have said it. And I know a lot of people will say, like, there can't be, conservative women. I think there can be, right? And I think you can work with conservative women. I think the whole entire trad movement is pretty fucking lame because most of your trad influencers are single with no fucking kids, with no family, and all they do is work. So it's like, okay, you could talk about, I get it, you could talk about things, and whatever, but like the whole entire like lifestyle, I'm trad, but you're not married, you don't have any fucking kids. You can't be. It's like very hard to be trad and promote being married and having a bunch of kids when you don't have it, right? Number one. And then talking about how trad you are and how great I'd be as a wife. Like, you don't know how great you'd be as a wife. You're not one. Number one. But there can be women who are fairly conservative. Yes, they all kind of default back to womanhood if they're ever put in a position where a guy attacks a woman for something that's like obvious. If they're debating, they will all woman it up, right? They all fall into that. That's just women. They are social beasts. They could hate a bitch, but it's woman versus man. They pick the woman. That's how it is. How it is. But you can work with conservative women. You can have, hell, I've had plenty of interviews. I've had lots of fun talking to a lot of conservative women. But you don't go into business as a solo male with a woman who just got done with a sexual harassment lawsuit. I don't know what else to say. You don't go with to that woman right away. Makes no sense. Nate's saying he's currently doing this with Melanie Mack. He's working with Melanie Mac. Listen, Melanie Mac's another one with the whole entire now. She's like super Jesus oriented. She does the, Bible reading of the fucking day or whatever it is. I mean, Melanie made this whole like thing about being like this edgy Tomb Raider super fan. That the dude semi cosplays and post up thirst traps so dudes could fucking come to her. And don't get me wrong, she has some fine opinions sometimes on conservative things. I've seen her a ton on side scrollers. I have nothing against Melanie Mac, but it's like, again, what are you doing, man? Caveat tie saying otherwise it would be $2,500,000. No, it's not 2.5 million. It's 250K. Nate saying Hannah Claire Blumrow still works on the quartering. Okay. I didn't know she still works over there. Listen, Hannah Claire, I don't disparage anyone. She was insufferable on Timcast. She really was. She was a milquetoast conservative. That kind of just threw out, the talking point of the day. And she really thought she was the main act. She really did. Like whenever Tim would like start like a topic, she was always the first one to give her opinion before the guest. And like even before Ian, even before Seamus, even before Luke, like all the regulars that were there. I'm pretty sure she'd fucking talk over Adam if Adam was there. And then when Phil started to become like a main guy and obviously like a number 2, she would talk before him. And it became to a point where I was happy when Tim let her go. When he did the restructuring, when Tim let her go, I don't dislike, in terms of personalities wise, many people. I was not a fan of Hannah Claire Brimlow. And I think one of my biggest pet peeves too is she was one of those people that if someone would just call her Hannah, she would have to correct them. And to me, that's so fucking vain. It's Hannah Claire. It's like, no, who gives a shit? 2 first names, get the fuck out of here. Okay? Like, if you're that touchy about your name, then what else are you vain about? I mean, I didn't mean to get on my soapbox and just fucking rant about Hannah Claire Brimlow, but it's like, she's one of the only like personalities I've like truly ever like not liked and was happy when she was gone from a thing that I enjoyed. Caveat tie saying he just said it weird. That's what I was saying. I mean, yeah, probably. Okay, let's keep rolling.
Say awkward and creepy. I'm not just pulling a quartering and pulling stuff out of my cheeks. On the show, Jeremy would often let loose slips like,
my DMs are closed. I'd get too many dick pics.
Do you? Oh.
Just loads of them. And they're not great either. They're not great. They're like flaccid. Girl, have you ever...
I'm sorry. This chick filed sexual harassment charges at her last place of work. The last thing you should be doing if you're going to bring her on is making sexual jokes.
Peed in a trough where there's like dongs on the left of you and to the right. You can see them both.
You
and
don't
you're
have to
peeing
look
in an
at
open
them.
river.
You don't have to look at them. It's
You
not
have
like
to look. It's a respect thing. If there's a guy who is like supremely hung, you would like rib him about it. You know what I mean? Versus like be jealous.
and it wouldn't be Jeremy without him getting drunk and saying weird shit on Twitter he would have to delete later once he's sobered up, like this one. If this post ends on an odd number of replies, Sydney will post a lewd photo in the replies. One can only imagine what Sydney's DMs from this period look like. Anyway, Operation Simping for Sydney ultimately ended in failure after the Publica failed to gain any traction and struggled to hit even 20% of its subscription goal.
So I have to make a little bit of...
So again, and I say again, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. If a person just filed a sexual harassment charge, you shouldn't be making sexualized jokes. I get it if you're fucking edgy, right? And that's kind of the thing. And Sid kind of made herself that personality from being on You Are Here. So maybe that just carried over, but it's like, I don't know. I couldn't do that. I couldn't work with her in that type of setting where I couldn't be my fucking self. And, you know, I'm crass and I say shit like that. I don't know if I could work with Sydney Watson, especially in a one-on-one setting like that. I have nothing against Sydney. I would happily invite her to like interview her and talk to her or whatever, but I would definitely not make any jokes like that with her. And this isn't to say that she wasn't sexually harassed, okay? I'm not saying putting shade on the lawsuit or any shit like that. I don't know how that ended up at all. I actually don't give a fuck. But at the same time, if you know that this person is litigious, why are you going to continue to joke around like that? Caveat Ty saying, I don't care that much when people pronounce my name wrong. I mean, I thought your name was Roland. I'm happy you corrected me and told me it was Rollin, but I thought your name was Roland, just how it's spelled, right? There's some things that you have to correct sometimes, right? Correct. And I don't mind like if it's like a one-time correction, like whatever. And if you know someone makes a mistake, it is what it is. But like it was insufferable with Hannah Claire Brimlow. Like she had to correct it. And I love that when Luke Rudkowski, who again, his name is Rudkowski, but it was a joke that it was Radowski. Tim always fucked up his name. He didn't care. I love that he would call her only Hannah. He refused to call her Hannah Claire, and it was awesome. I love Luke for that. I like Luke Radowski for more reasons than that. He's awesome. I don't agree with him on everything, but the guy's fucking based. But outside of that, I always love that he refused to call her Hannah Claire.
An announcement. Myself and my good friend Sydney Watson launched a media company back in February 2022 known as The Publica. Almost everybody, on a personal note, who worked for that site did it for almost peanuts. But sadly, my time with The Publica has come to an end. My career has been evolving, and I've just been spread too thin, and I need more time. And
she always reminded me of Angela Anaconda. I don't know who Angela Anaconda is, Nate. Enlighten me. Rollins saying, yeah, most people do exactly as long as they aren't being a jerk. Yes, 100%. 100%.
Space for personal projects.
According to former employees, Quartering fired the staff while drunk in the middle of the night, and Sydney, though she wouldn't outright trash him, has avoided being caught up in the Quarter Planet's orbit too much ever since. Hey, nobody said simping was easy or cheap.
Here we go, the spiraling. Let's see what we got. 2 more chapters left.
Another failed business venture and another failed attempt to catch himself an e-girl. But that was okay. Jeremy was gonna throw more money at another conservative woman he wouldn't make the money back on, namely Melanie Mack. Now, she isn't the only woman currently employed by the Quartering. He has several people, male and female, on his payroll that he probably shouldn't. But what makes Melanie stand out is not only does she not really bring anything to the table besides being one of several human money pits that orbit around the Quarter Planet and eat up his net worth, but Jeremy is obviously fixated on and overfamiliar with her to a degree he just isn't with any other co-host, and constantly white knights and fights battles for her to a degree that even as a boss trying to look out for his employees is kind of much.
But it's like also like Melanie's been fighting battles her whole career. If and the thing is with Melanie, she'll just sit there and ignore people if she feels a need, or she'll fight back. Melanie Mack is not someone you have to defend. Like one thing I will say about Melanie is Melanie has no problem defending herself. So you don't have to defend her. And Chrissy Mayer is awesome. Shout out. Chrissy Mayer gave us a follow the other day. Fuck yeah, Chrissy. You're awesome. Let's keep going.
Also makes his earlier words about Christine Sprinkle and her white knights look a little hypocritical in hindsight. This was most obvious during the brief Goonergate incident in December of last year, when Melanie and a handful of other culture war righties went crusading against not porn, but extremely sexualized content in male-targeted media in general. Now
which I will say this was one of the lamest timelines of the Puritan right. That's what I call them. They're the fucking Puritan right, where people were like, this is when like Stellar Blade and things like that were jumping in, and people were happy that you were getting games with attractive women and things like that in that battle. And in came the Puritan right. Why do you need to have women unless you can have a good game without that? And it's like, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Same people that fucking love DOA, Melanie Mack, of all people, who made her fucking whole identity being like Lara Croft and things like that. It's like, come on. Lara Croft is one of the most sexualized characters in the history of man. And that's like Melanie Mack's like a whole thing. She cosplayed as Lara Croft more times than I can imagine. And for her to come in as one of these Puritan right people, get the fuck out of here. Like, it's wild. Nate's saying Chrissy Mayer is a dabbler. She named the Dabbleverse. I mean, Chrissy Mayer is amazing. I love Chrissy. She's, Simcast is fucking hilarious. And the thing I like about Chrissy is is another one who will talk to anyone. Chrissy is not someone who, won't talk to people. And she's pretty, likable because she's a comedian. So she's funny. So, she's able to bring lightheartedness. Her appearance on Timcast the other day was funny as hell. So like Chrissy's really good with that type of stuff.
Started clapping back at Melanie and her anti-Gooner allies' Puritan stances, and also pointed out that Melanie, as a fan of Tomb Raider, was throwing stones from a glass house. Quartering would then come to Milady's defense against these.
Maybe I should watch some of these videos so I won't just have them repeat. And they're going at Smash JT. I like Smash JT. I know Smash gets a lot of shit. I think right now he's fucking hilarious, where he just takes all the ugly characters in gaming and just groks them and be like, make her beautiful. It drives the leftist fucking crazy that he does that. And he just did that to the wife of Renee Good, the woman who was shot and killed by ICE for attempting to run over an ICE agent. And did something like, she's like, make this lesbian attractive or something like that. And again, he drives people crazy with doing this. And it's fucking hilarious.
These gooner nerds who just wanted to play big titty games all day. Just to remind you guys how Jeremy was moving just a couple years ago.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here, Unsleeved Media, and I've got a scoop for you. I've got some rejected art from Ixalan. I don't know if you have seen this. I did.
Oh my God. She is wearing a busty outfit. How dare she? Jeremy, what are you doing here? Smash JT was great. Yeah, I like Smash. I love that he went to the Gamer Awards and people were absolutely out of their mind. And friggin' Alyssa Mercanti couldn't get in. She didn't even have an invite.
Share this image with the YouTubes. I'm not entirely sure why Wizards of the Coast wouldn't print this card. I mean, certainly very powerful, very intelligent, very thought-provoking. Lots to think about with this card. What's going on in Jor's mind here?
But Jeremy wasn't reflecting in any of that. He just jumped at the opportunity to look good for an employee he'd be better off laying off. This is true for most of the Quartering's employees. He hires all these people to help run his businesses that all fail anyway, save for his YouTube channel that could probably run just as well with just 1 or 2 full-time editors.
And the thing is, too, it's like, you could see, like, it's wild to me, right? Like, obviously, Jeremy has had a ton of success. He's hanging out with Steven Crowder, who's one of the most successful conservative podcasters of all time, if not one, and now one of the most important. It has been for a while. Like, he's been huge, and he can throw all this fucking money around. Like, I just don't understand. Like, bro, just go invest. Keep doing what you're doing in terms of what you're doing with the Quartering. It makes you a fucking boatload, and invest your money. Hire someone to invest your money so you never have to work again. I hope he has, because it would be a shame if we look 5-10 years from now and the Quartering is a fucking lolcow on Keemstar. That would be terrible.
The most use Quartering really gets out of these guys is as co-host on his Rumble streams, which he started mostly streaming from in 2023. Now, he said it was because of free speech Rumble allowed compared to YouTube, which is preposterous. Like, Quartering's not even spicy enough for that to be an authentic reason. Part of the reason why Quartering's been able to thrive over the years anyway is because all of the actual edgy people, the far righties, the edgelord comedians, the shot jock streamers and whatnot, would all get banned during the late 10s. And there was a vacuum for milquetoast righties like Ben Shapiro, Tim Pool, in the quartering to thrive in. The actual,
and that's the thing, like the individuals that are there, like Tim's not a conservative. He definitely leans more right now, but he's not a conservative dude. Quartering has more baseline conservative views. Ben Shapiro's a fucking neocon and a uniparty person, so he'll always be accepted. But it's like, agreed. Like, YouTube is not somewhere where like your extreme conservatives go.
reason Jeremy went to Rumble was for the fat checks Rumble was going to pay him to stream from there, and the benefits of constantly being on Rumble's front page. Jeremy's Rumble deal has made him a heavy chunk of change over the years, until it hasn't. See, Jeremy, despite his years of experience and frequent business failures at this point, still has failed to internalize one of the most basic rules of business, that is, preparing for downturns. When business is booming, everything's easy. You can lose a couple stacks and recoup it all and then some in a few years. But when winter comes, when the drought comes, when that recession hits and the revenue ain't hitting like it used to, is your business capable of weathering the momentary hardship and not just fall apart? The answer, if your name is Jeremy Hambley, is no. Quartering's entire empire was built off the back of his YouTube success. His endless stream of YouTube slot videos is his financial foundation. Everything else is supplementary. So
I didn't even notice that. He puts out 5 videos a day. Like, I thought Mikey No More was exaggerating. 5 fucking videos a day? 12, 2, 3, 5, and 6? I didn't even know that. Holy shit. That's a fucking grind, man. Excuse me. 5 videos is a lot. Wow. No, you go. You do you, Jeremy.
And these other businesses have been failing, Jeremy was like, it's fine. When his staff payroll gets a little high, he's like, it'll be all right. Even when Rumble ended its deal with Jeremy, stopped paying him those big checks, his subscriptions there start drying up, and he didn't get reliably put on Rumble's front page anymore, he could still shrug and say, well, it's not great, but it's not the end of the world. But shit, it's different when his YouTube metrics start performing so well too.
Looks like there's some trouble in paradise.
See, Jeremy's been getting a bit anxious as of late, like actually losing his shit a bit.
Caveat Ty saying they're short though and not edited. I mean, listen, I get it, but it's still a pain in the ass to do it the right way. But I guess, hey, listen, when you have more quantity than quality, eventually people are going to watch, especially if you just go read the news. Again, you're telling people what you believe is the most important. They start to trust you, and then you become their news source. I guess that works.
I know a lot of you have been asking about my breathing, what's going on with that. It's from anxiety. And I've been having a lot of it lately. I've been trying to get off the medication. I've been on, SSRIs for a long time for anxiety. And they tried to say, oh, well, let's up your dose, but I didn't want to do that. And my doctor's like, well, it's not as effective anymore because you've been on it for such a long time. I'm hoping it's just a rough patch.
Here's the thing. I get people that have anxiety, and anxiety sucks. But sometimes people cause their own fucking anxiety, man. Like, he's causing his own shit here. You cause, the thing is, like, I work with a lot of people that have a ton of anxiety. And anxiety, while sometimes it can't be helped, right? And that's a natural thing. We all get those anxious moments. And some people do have clinical issues with it. But anxiety is the perception of not having control, generally, right? There's obviously more complexities to it. But the perception of not being in control, and that, not a fear, but just that uncertainty getting to you. And I understand, like, if you're quartering and you're seeing your numbers go down, there's a lot of uncertainty. But there are things like, and the only best way to do it is worry about what you can control, right? That is the best way to do it. What can I control? And if I can't control it, don't worry about it. And that's the thing. And listen, I get it. I understand his anxiety. If you're seeing your livelihood not progress and you have a certain standard of living, I understand. So let's see how he's handling it.
It was a really, really, really stressful July between, my foot. I had Achilles tendonitis, then I had gout, and then I had anxiety, and then I had, the no paycheck for July because the Rumble deal expired. It was just a whole bunch of crazy, stressful stuff.
Now, you might look at these numbers and say, that's not bad. Well, they are bad when you're an almost 2 million sub channel and you're hundreds of thousands of dollars in the hole and are employing way more people than you should. Apparently, breaking even 70K on a video is no longer a guarantee for the quartering. Not unless he's talking about something topical like Charlie Kirk's assassination. By the way, Jeremy has been one of those guys going at Candace Owens for milking Charlie's death for views, despite making literally dozens of videos about Charlie in a row to milk his death for views too. Reminded that Jeremy's full of shit and just as much of a shameless grifter as Candace is.
And here's the thing. We all made videos about, and streamed about Charlie's death and talked about it, and we'll bring it up, right? Hey, I came on that day just to kind of vent, and, Melee K joined me, and we had a really good talk. Like, K's awesome. That was a helpful stream for me because processing Charlie being shot, seeing it, it was hard. It was weird. And I just needed to get on and yak and talk and process. And me and Kay talked through it. And Kay's, like I said, Kay's awesome. But to a lot of, and it's not just quartering. It's not just Candace. Candace is just fucking vile. It's not even about grifting for Candace. Obviously, she grifted to get to where she is, but she's just a vile person. And she's just fucking crazy. And she's always been a grifter. Like, she started off on the left and she came to the right when she saw that it was going to be profitable. And she's done some good, but now we need to fucking just expel her from the movement. Caveat Ty saying milking for views is different than saying garbage things for views. Agreed. Okay, let's keep it rolling here. We got 8 more minutes.
Jeremy's metrics are even worse on his secondary channel, Jeremy Hambley. This used to be a channel called
Quartercast,
and he can't even get 50K on a video reliably anymore. The last few months have been the worst performing months he's had on YouTube in years. And he can blame it on his channel getting shadow banned, censored, or strangled, as if his cookie cutter ass clickbait is worth that type of effort from Google. The truth is, after being blessed with a gravy train for the better part of a decade, YouTube's algorithm doesn't care for the quartering in his stank anymore. Censorship on YouTube has actually lessened recently under Neil Mahan, and Neil's even let some edgy boys from the past who've been banned for a while back on the platform. Now, this is terrible news for Jeremy.
And, I'll say that too, and I know where Mikey's going with this, that because there's now other places to go and people like edginess. People do enjoy that. People enjoy that type of edginess. Again, we did the breakdown of iDubbbz that Mikey Nomo did, and iDubbbz started off as edgy. That's why people love the Bloodsport debates, because that was fucking edgy as hell. People like that. And there's a place for the milquetoast, right? And no doubt Jeremy's going to be able to continue to make money off of what he's doing, but it seems like not the type of money he's used to. And when you create a lifestyle and you're seemingly not prepared for a potential drop off, because when your whole basis is based off viewership and fans and trying to maintain their interest, it's not easy. It's not easy to do. And that's why audience capture is a thing. A lot of people fall into audience capture and start doing things just to step up and continue to try and stay relevant, but that always fails. Jeremy's trying to stay tried and true and just grifting, but that only goes so far as well. Let's keep going.
Because the lack of competition was one of his main strengths. He can't hang in an era of YouTube where he's not getting that algorithmic stimulus package and has to compete with right-leaning content creators who make better content than his slop. The next few years of Jeremy's YouTube career aren't looking too bright. And if all this financial stress was occurring in just one place, that'd be bad enough. But it's everywhere, all at once. His main channel, his secondary channel, his Rumble, and worst of all, his coffee company.
Chapter 10, the
Bro,
grifting.
Coffee Brand Coffee has gotten Jeremy all the way fucked up. Apparently, he's over $300,000 in debt.
What's wrong, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I wasn't sure I was going to go public about this, but it appears I have to now. Many of you know that I've got a lot of irons in the fire. You've heard me say, "Hey, I've got my Mega Mixology cookbook to help fund the new studio." Obviously it's a meme, but you all know I have my coffee company. All of these things have stretched basically me to the absolute max. It was fine. You probably saw I was selling my Neo Geo collection. I'm selling my Nintendo collection. I'm selling all this stuff to help fund this stuff.
You know you're in a bad spot when you're selling shit off in order to keep up some of the things going. Like, if you have to sell things off to keep things going, maybe you should just not do those, because it usually doesn't work out well.
We really are at an inflection point where a lot of companies would take on investors. You know, I've got $300,000 almost floating right now in debt. I'm just being dead serious.
And it's the worst type of debt. Debt that's tied to high interest loans and unsecured credit. And he just can't sell any of it. It doesn't matter how many flavors he has or how many holiday specials he makes. He's not moving any of this product. No market footprint and no market penetration. Only thing getting penetrated is Jeremy's bussy, cause winter is coming, bills are due, and he's got tons of inventory that nobody, including his fans, want. And before we get off this subject, I need to spill some beans about a certain not-so-secret detail concerning Coffee Brand Coffee. That is the claim that Jeremy does everything in-house at his privately owned coffee company and doesn't just drop ship.
There's a big difference between what I do and what most everyone else does. I don't drop ship my coffee. We roast our own special blends.
Now, here's the thing. Everyone says this. Everyone that you watch on the internet that sells coffee says this exact same thing. We're not like everyone else. We don't outsource this. We do our own stuff. People know when they're being sold, right? They know that.
Hand flavor our beans. We pack our orders. We ship our orders. We handle our customer service. We are not a drop ship outlet. We're a real coffee company.
Yeah, that is also a lie. Jeremy doesn't do all the work in-house. Pick the beans, roast the blends, all that stuff. He didn't even really buy a coffee company at all. What he's actually been doing is repackaging coffee made by a company called Mill Creek Coffee Roasters and selling it as his own, which he can do since Mill Creek Coffee Roasters is a private label that allows other white label companies, which Coffee Brand Coffee actually is, to do that. In a video Jeremy posted to prove that he does in fact have a roastery, people are able to compare these photos to ones that Mill Creek Coffee had available on their social media. And
this is wild, because the internet is and always will be undefeated. Just look at that. Like, the sleuths on the internet go on in, and I don't even know like how they figure this out. I mean, people figure a lot smarter than me figure this type of shit out. But the autists on the internet are ridiculous.
they looked identical. People also noticed that Coffee Brand Coffee's LLC coincidentally happened to share the exact same address as the LLC of Player One Coffee, a coffee company coincidentally owned by Zach Shutt, who's also the CEO of MetaPCs, coincidentally, one of Jeremy's main sponsors over the years. Also, coincidentally, of course, Zach's coffee ad also featured a roastery that looked an awful lot like Mill Creek's. Also, they somehow had the same address that was only a 20-minute drive from a facility owned by Mill Creek Coffee Roasters, who are the ones who are actually brewing this coffee. Not Player One Coffee, and certainly not Coffee Brand Coffee. This whole time, Quartering's been bragging about how he's doing everything.
And this is the problem, right? Rollins saying Google I'm a church. Yeah, Google's made it a lot easier to be an internet sleuth these days. But this is like the problem. Like, and this is like goes back to like basic when you're a child, right? You are told that if you lie, you're going to have to use another lie to cover up the lie, and then another lie to cover up that lie. And you'll tell so many lies that eventually you'll forget and get yourself caught. This is a perfect example of that. This is a perfect example of if you lie, you will eventually get caught, especially as you get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. People are going to find shit out about you. They're going to find things about the things that you do. And if you're not being as transparent as possible, and, you know, obviously there's some like, proprietary things or business things you're not going to tell people. But if you're going out and telling someone like, hey, this is what I do, and it's not true, people are going to find that out, especially as you get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Everything in-house instead of drop shipping. In reality, what he's doing is technically a step below drop shipping, because not only is Coffee Brand Coffee a white label product, it's just a copy of another white label product, Player One Coffee. And this isn't some grand secret either. Companies who actually do roast their own beans know exactly what Jeremy is doing. So the Coffee Brand Coffee Company, that's basically a millstone around this motherfucker's neck at this point, was built on a lie that Quartering has been peddling for over 3 years. Let this be a lesson. Being a grifter doesn't always pay. The Quartering is spiraling. His metrics keep dropping. His businesses have all failed or are actively failing. He's burning through money month after month, and Melanie Mack and Sydney Watson still won't give him a crumb. It's tough out here for Jeremy. Well, not really, because as much as Jeremy likes to e-beg his fans to bail him out of the latest financial Kimura lock he's put himself in.
Mother's Day is next week. But more important than that, I'm hoping, praying, asking you guys to support the channel.
He still lives one of the most decadent lifestyles in America. And he doesn't even hide it. At least with the Millhouse coffee roaster shit, he tries to keep that on the down low.
And it's funny too, because like, there's been times where like I've been listening to shows and they'll like comment and be like, hey, heard Jeremy is struggling and Jeremy's poor. And you'll just have people have been like, we've been to Jeremy's house. This guy doesn't he have a fucking plane. Like he's not poor. He's not poor. You can play it off like you are. And this thing, a lot of people that have money, the reason why they have money is because a lot of times they pretend like they don't. And that's just what it is.
He'll just openly talk about and post photos and videos of his collection of vintage arcade machines, his fleet of cars including a fully modded Cybertruck, his multiple $1,000 plus watches, his giant RC track on his acres of land, his giant ass house that he had personally built in his 7-foot tall saltwater.
I'm sorry though, that RC track was pretty sick. I will say that is a good use of money. That's a pretty cool RC track. But yeah, what the fuck?
Fish tank. This ain't me tanky posting about Jeremy living it up too big. He can ball out as much as he wants with his money. This is me pointing out that a millionaire who lives like this has no business extending his hand and asking for a handout from his audience. The Quartering being an ape when it comes to running his various businesses and being a giant consumer when it comes to managing his finances is the Quartering's problem, nobody else's. Moist Critical recently turned off all forms of his monetization because he already felt he made too big of a bag over the years to justify it, and felt guilty about his working class fans continuing to give him their hard-earned money.
Which I will say, good for Moist Critical, but also lame. Okay? That's also, like, come on now. If people, you work hard for people to pay you money, I mean, Caveat Ty saying probably not that expensive to do the track though. No, but it is pretty dope.
But Big Hambly over here, nah, he needs those donos, he needs those memberships, he needs that ad revenue, he needs a Rumble deal, he needs for you to buy his coffee, he needs for you to buy his MAGA mixology book. And he needs for you to pay for his hotel expenses. Holy shit, dude. Just get a cup, find a corner, and start begging pedestrians for change at this point, nigga. Goddamn.
So, bottom line, you're a huge grifter.
Massive.
Yeah.
I've actually,
here.
so I have it drawn out. I have basically a 2-year plan that started last year. I'm pretty sure that like my channel will be irrelevant like by this time next year. There hasn't been a big push in the last year. And if there isn't another one next year to kind of refresh viewership, I've already kind of started planning my exit plan. So I'm maximum grift.
So that was the end of that video. Everyone, go and subscribe to Mikey Nomo. I think he does solid work. This is now 2 different videos that we've watched, the iDubbbz one and now this one on the quartering. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So where are we at? Conclusions here. I didn't know this much about the quartering. I personally don't give a fuck. Yep, Rollins saying there's OMB. He was on my show. Yeah, OMB. Odin's awesome. Nate saying his track is pretty expensive. He added some very luxury amenities to it. Gotcha. So my thing with the quartering is I'm not a person who frequently watches him, but we all rip on DSP for doing his beg streams. And I mean, I know Kino Casino has been going at the quartering hard. And mostly because fucking Worski hates him. And understandable. But it is kind of, you know, for me especially, like I'm like a small ass streamer. But for someone who has that type of money to then pretend like he's poor all the time, beg all the time, anxiety, this and that, like it comes to a point where you look at someone like that and it's like, man, just be quiet. And to find out all this about him, and nobody's perfect, right? No one's perfect. We're all going to fuck up. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to say dumb shit, do dumb shit. And the thing is, the internet's forever. So when you do that, even if you delete it, most likely you can have archive.com or like from yesterday, the one video that was deleted, Mikey was able to find the transcript and we read it. Like that's normal stuff. But it's like, it's something like this where you look at it and it's like, it makes you look at these individuals differently. And it was like kind of obvious, like the quartering, I was never entertained by him. I didn't think he was all that great. I didn't watch his news videos, things like that. And that's just not a knock completely on him. It was just not my cup of tea. But for him to go and beg and complain and whine, like, I wish I was in his position, right? Everyone wishes they were in his position, making some money and things like that, and being able to pay people and open businesses and things. And kudos for all those things, but just all like the minor things on the side. Like, I don't know, like I didn't do, obviously they didn't cover the Amfest thing. Maybe next time David's on and it's, if we don't have a guest or anything, we can talk about kind of the Amfest thing. He can give us a rundown and he could probably find some clips from Kino Casino to talk about it and we can yak about it because it's more that adds to it. Do I think quartering is at like the iDubbbz, DSP, Boogie, Wings of Redemption level? No, I don't think he's there. Do I think that he is heading in the possibility of getting there with the trend that he's going? Maybe not. I think he has enough money that he never will truly be broke. I think he'll be broke for his standard, but never broke, right? I think we we think of broke in different ways as people. And someone who is a, multimillionaire can throw around hundreds of thousands of dollars like Jeremy seemingly can. His definition of broke is very different than someone like me and my definition of broke, but then someone, in a lesser position than me would consider broke different, right? So there's levels to this thing. Is there a chance that Jeremy gets broke for what he would consider broke? Absolutely. Absolutely, because like Mikey covered, his videos aren't hitting what they used to. His page with 1.2 million subscribers, I think, not being able to get 70K, 100K. Like, typically the metric is, I believe, what I've heard from a few streamers say, you get about 10% of what your followers are. Typically, if you can get up to 10% of your followers, you're doing okay. And hopefully that translates. But 10% is usually the number that you're going to see on your videos. So in theory, the quartering should be seeing over 100K per video, no problem, if the 10% thing is real. So you see that he's struggling there. Do I think he's a full-on lolcow yet? I don't think completely. I think he can get there. I think if you ask the casino, they'll fucking tell you he is. But I mean, it's interesting. I thought the video was well made. Mikey Nomo's videos are good. I thought that was a well-made video. They're always funny. He has good comedic timing with his scripts and things like that. So I give him kudos for his videos. And it was interesting to learn about the quartering and about who he was. Nate G saying he even bought luxury dirt. What the fuck? See, I get it. There's levels. Like I said, there's levels, right? Nate G also saying Casino Amfest was great. I have to watch it. And like I said, maybe next time David, when he's on with me, we'll go and watch that, or we'll talk and we'll do reactions and stuff to that, which might be this Wednesday, because we had a guest. We had to move the guest, and we'll see if we have a guest for Wednesday. If we don't have a guest for Wednesday, we'll be able to do our typical thing where me and David will jump on and we'll do some stuff, unless David fucking hates me and doesn't jump on, but we'll do it. So, but yeah, that's all I got for you guys tonight. Like I said, I may be back tomorrow. I do my other show, Talking in Ovals, track and field show. I do that tomorrow. So I might come back on for like an hour after that. So if it were to be a time, look for that to be closer to 11, maybe 10:45, the earliest, if I do jump on. There's no guarantee. And that'll probably just be a hangout stream. Just pick a few topics, bullshit about a few topics, maybe hang out for an hour or so. That might be that. But outside of that, I have nothing left for you guys. So I appreciate everyone for wherever you watched from: YouTube X, Facebook, Kick, Rumble. Make sure you click that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. I want to thank, obviously, Nate G, Random Raccoon, Caveat, Drunk 3PO made a drive-by. So I appreciate Jay for jumping on. But outside of that, that's all I got. So I will talk to everyone. If not tomorrow, I'll be back on Tuesday. So everyone have a wonderful night. Have a good time and be safe. See everyone later, y'all.